earthquakes in various places. There will be famines. This is but the beginning of the birth pangs. May God add his blessing to the reading and hearing of his holy word.
Thank you so much, Nevin, not only for reading today, but also for being the chair of the Stewardship Committee. So, thank you. Who of you likes to worry? Okay, I see some finger pointing. I see some hands going up. I joined the worry club as well. And what is it about worries? We worry so much about the worries that all what we do is worry about the worries. And there always are the worries, at least for me, about the future. And then if we look at our phone, scroll is the doom scroll. The more we look, the more worried we get. Or we look at the newspaper, or we click on the TV, and even more gloom and doom. All we do is worry. What about this wonderful text of worries on this Consecration Sunday? That is doom and gloom. Well, however, there is more. And together with you, I invite you to discover not only the worries, but the hope. Because the gospel means good news. And even in a story today about the destruction of the temple, in the 13th chapter of Mark, and I will go to that a little bit more, there is hope. And there is new life. Because God holds the future. And we all know that God is bringing a new thing. The gospel. And as I said, this reading is in the 13th chapter of Mark's gospel. Mark is the first gospel written about 40 years after Jesus' death. And in the 13th chapter of what we read, it's all about apocalyptic, about the end of the world. I feel like standing here with my sign, like some people at the street corner, the end is near. And why is it that if you look, and if maybe you have noticed that in November, we hear a lot of dark texts? Is it because the days are getting longer and colder outside, and therefore we need some more darkness? No, I believe because we are wrapping up the church year. In 2 weeks, just the Sunday after Thanksgiving, we are celebrating First of Advent. And Advent is the new church year. So we can actually cheer and click our glasses and say Happy New Year much earlier than the rest of the world. And what does that mean? Yes, this is the 13th chapter of the Mark's Gospel. And just before Jesus has the last week in Jerusalem, just before Jesus' last meal with the disciples, just before Jesus' torture and death. That doesn't make us very happy either, but there is more to the story. Just wait. As I said, Mark's gospel was written about 40 years after Jesus' death. It was a time of destruction. If you think today is bad, just look back in history. At that time, there were many religious leaders who said, come on, Israelites, we are going to have a revolt against the Roman oppressors. It came to the point that the year of 70, the temple was destroyed. Not only the temple, but more than 1 million Jews were killed. You are talking about a bad time. And so when we read in verse 2, not one stone will be left upon another, all will be thrown down. People have thought that maybe Mark is writing about the destruction of the temple. And now we'll see people with their signs, the end is near. Where's the good news? There is good news. Just wait. Because we know that after the chapter 14 and 15, there's chapter 16 in the Bible. Our cross is empty. Good Friday is not the last word, but Easter. We trust that it is God who holds the future, God who holds us. Even when it snows, yes, I see, God holds us, and there will be spring in a couple of months. Just hold on. Where is the good news with all that destruction going on? If you look at our texts, it's actually in the last words. Are there any moms in this room? I'm not only talking about moms with little ones, but anybody who has given birth at some point in your history. Jesus talks about you. This is the beginning of the birth pangs. I do remember. That's the reason why labor is called labor. It's not a fun joyride at the carnival. There is a reason. And when these minutes turn into hours, and these hours into days, and all what you think about, all what you are possessed about is the pain. I knew in my head alone, yes, the pain will be over at some point. And yes, there was a time before the epidurals when there was pain. We are birth pain. And yes, we might have all known, only a little bit longer, only a little bit longer. And I'm thinking of little Hazel Ann just being born. Now what a darling she is. But I'm sure Mom probably didn't think that just before she was born. Only a little bit longer. And then we all know, we all have experienced that joy. I'm reminded of a story by the theologian Henry Nouwen. He imagines two twins, well, twins are always coming too, so twins having a conversation in womb about what might happen. Is there going to be a life after birth? One says to the other, do you also experience these twinges and these pains and the uncomfortable, getting kind of like narrow in here? And the other said, well, it's just part of life, just ignore it. Well, says the first one, well, I wonder, with all these tweezers and twings and just going on, and the womb is getting spacier, and I can't really stretch and can't put my legs out here and my arm over there. I wonder if there will be a life after birth. The first one said, can't be, because I have never experienced it. How would it be? All what I know is what we are right now. And that's most of the time comfortable, but you take too much space. So move over. And the first one thinks like, well, just imagine. Imagine what it would look like. And we all know what happened. The space got tighter and tighter, and the babies grew bigger and bigger, and yes, there was birth pain. And they went through some darkness and some pain, and out came on the other side, and first they were screaming because they were not where they were before, in the cozy, dark space, all what they knew. And after the screaming, surrounded by love and comfort, and they never looked back at what was before. And I believe this is the good news. Yes, not only in Mark's time, but we have gone through some tough times as well as the church. And I want to say thank you for holding on there, for not giving up. But together, some people might have said, it's like the second birth we are going through. We are not like how we used to be. We are different. But we have been given new life. I'm so pleased to see all of you here. Thank you. I am grateful for you. Thank you also for those who are trying us out for the first time, second, third, fourth, fifth time coming through the doors, and what they find is a home of comfort and love. Thank you. Thank you for your trust. And what has it got to do with stewardship? I promise to be generous to this church because I have experienced how this place, not just these four walls, how this place, how these people who we call Westerville Community United Church of Christ, have given new life. I have experienced how God has been faithful. I have experienced how God has turned the fear into hope, the pain into new life. And I have witnessed with my own eyes and with my own ears how people's lives have been transformed because of you. I promise to give to this church because I believe in you. And I believe in what I have seen God has done through this church and in this church and with this church to the community. I promise to be generous, not only with my times and talents, but also with my money. I promise because I know the good news is that God holds the future. And I believe in that empty cross. I believe in Easter. And I believe in Christmas and the good news that God was one of us, is one of us, and therefore understands human life with all the questions, with all the suffering there is. But the good news is, the bad news only is temporary, and God will always win. Love and life always wins. That's what I'm convinced of. That's what I believe, and that's why I promise to give to this church. Amen.